Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we push low-end laptops to their absolute breaking point. Also, you don't have to. Today, we're diving into The Alters, a sci-fi survival base building game that's been making waves for its storytelling and philosophical themes, and also for making my potato laptop sweat like it's writing its own existential crisis. Now, imagine this. You wake up stranded, the sun's about to roast you alive, and your only friends are alternate versions of yourself. Sounds like a therapist's dream or a nightmare, depending on how well you like yourself. Let's see how The Alters runs on a low-end PC with no graphics card and a humble little i3 processor. Spoiler, my laptop might need therapy after this one. So I set the graphics settings to, you guessed it, rock bottom. Everything's on low, and I cranked FSR to performance mode, which is basically begging the game to go easy on my hardware. The result? A pretty consistent 15 to 25 FPS, depending on the scene. Not terrible, but not buttery smooth either. There's noticeable stuttering, kind of like my laptop trying to figure out why it's being tortured again, and the occasional input lag that makes your character feel like he's stuck in molasses. But hey, for a story-driven, base-building experience, you don't really need lightning-fast reflexes. It's playable if you have patience, caffeine, and a fan blowing directly on your laptop to keep it from combusting. Considering the genre and the scope, it's actually impressive that it runs at all on this setup. Now let's talk gameplay. And let me tell you, this is where things get really interesting. At first glance, The Alters might seem like just another sci-fi survival sim floating through the indie space game nebula, but don't be fooled. This game has depth, heart, and a surprisingly emotional core. You're not just harvesting resources and building modules like a space mechanic with OCD, you're managing a team of your own alternate versions. That's right, this is a game where you literally become your own worst enemy, and best friend, and passive-aggressive coworker who always thinks they could do your job better. Each alter is more than just a clone with a cool haircut. They come with fully fleshed-out personalities, backstories, and emotional baggage that would make a therapist charge double. One might be a brilliant engineer who's emotionally distant, another a cheerful medic who's quietly suffering, and there's always that one alter who you swear just exists to disagree with you at every possible turn. Reading through their files and watching them interact with each other, and with you, is one of the game's biggest strengths. It's like sci-fi meets group therapy. I caught myself going, wait, am I the problem here? More than once. If nothing else, this game will make you self-reflect, sometimes way more than you were ready for. The gameplay loop itself is a blend of resource management, relationship management, and strategic planning. You're constantly toggling between building new sections of your mobile base, keeping the reactor running, and treating your alters for radiation sickness after you accidentally left the shielding off. Oops. You need to mine metal, refine it, keep food supplies up, repair modules, and make time to talk to your alters to deepen your relationships. It's a cosmic juggling act, and sometimes it feels like you're juggling while riding a unicycle on an asteroid that's slowly melting under the sun's radiation. No pressure. Base building is simple, but not without its frustrations. For instance, assigning tasks to alters is a very manual affair. You can't queue priorities or set automation, which means if you want someone to repair something or process, you better be ready to micromanage them like a nervous parent on their kid's first science project. This design decision slows the pace, especially in the early to mid-game when you don't have enough manpower and everything's breaking down every 5 minutes. There's also no way to remotely toggle the radiation shield, which sounds like a minor complaint, until you're sprinting to the controls while 3 alters are turning into glow sticks and screaming for help. And let's not forget the sun, the giant, ever-looming fireball that's always chasing you. There's a looming sense of urgency as you move your mobile base forward to stay ahead of its deathly race. It's a great narrative device, but it also adds real tension to gameplay, especially when you're low on power or manpower. There were times I genuinely panicked, not because of combat or enemies, there's barely any, but because I forgot to assign someone to filter the radiation or fix a broken system, and suddenly it was chaos. Glorious, exhausting chaos. Now, about those storylines. This is where the game really shines and stumbles at the same time. The writing is excellent. The dialogue feels personal, even intimate, and the moral choices you're given make you pause and think. Some alters will question your decisions. Others will refuse to help if they're emotionally unstable, and sometimes you'll make a choice that causes a major event to spiral. It's dynamic and makes you feel like you're crafting your own sci-fi narrative. However, and it's a big however, some of the subplots feel unfinished. I never got to really explore the guard story, and the scientist only opened up in the last chapter, by which time the sun was practically licking the back of our ship. Also, you're limited to 6 altars per playthrough, and while that makes sense from a gameplay balance perspective, it also means you're guaranteed to miss a bunch of rich narrative content. And here's the kicker. The game's structure doesn't really encourage multiple playthroughs. Once you've seen the major plot beats and experienced the base mechanics, there's not much incentive to dive back in. The events and outcomes aren't randomized, and by the endgame, when the automatic mining system is running smoothly and resources are in abundance, the gameplay slows to a crawl. I literally started sleeping through in-game days just to reach the final story trigger. It's a shame, really, because there's so much potential here. With just a bit more polish, like randomized events, better task delegation, or even minor branching paths within altar storylines, it could have added massive replay value. But as it stands, the altars is a play it once and remember it kind of experience. You'll be moved, you'll be stressed, you'll feel connected, and then you'll likely move on. Still, I genuinely enjoyed my time with the game. Yes, the action is limited, the pacing can get sluggish, and I had to constantly babysit my poor irradiated altars. But the emotional weight of the story and the personal relationships you build with your other selves make this game stand out in a sea of survival sims. And yes, I'm still holding out hope that the devs patch in the ability to romance an altar. Don't act like you wouldn't date yourself if you had the chance. So, can you play the altars on a low-end PC with no GPU? Yes, but only if you're willing to accept a few compromises. The FPS isn't pretty, the input lag exists, and you'll need to sacrifice graphical fidelity at the altar of playability. But for a patient gamer who values story and character development over flashy visuals and twitch reflexes, this is a journey worth taking. The gameplay might be a bit slow and repetitive, but the emotional payoffs, deep narrative, and rich character interactions make it all worthwhile. Just don't expect high-octane action or a flawless technical experience. This is more of a slow burn that hits you in the feels. Would I recommend it? Absolutely, especially if you're into games that make you question identity, morality, and whether you'd get along with another version of yourself in a confined spaceship. Just maybe don't watch full walkthroughs before playing. Spoilers will rob you of the narrative joy that makes the altars shine. And that's it for today's review of the altars on a low-end PC. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon like it's your lazy altar refusing to fix the generator again. Let me know in the comments if you've tried the game and how it ran for you, or if your laptop also started questioning its existence. Until next time, stay curious, stay caffeinated, and keep gaming, even if your PC begs you to stop. See you in the next one.